What's happening, boys and girls? How the devil are we? Shanksy here, and today in this video we're going to be talking about masteries, offensive masteries predominantly. What should you be building? Why should you be building it? And is there any like guaranteed go-to offensive mastery? So without further ado, let's get into it, baby. So what's happening there, boys and girls? As I've already said, today we're going to be looking at every single mastery within Raid Shadow Legends, within the offensive tree predominantly. Okay, so we're not going to be looking at defense and support. We're going to do that another video, and we're going to go over each and every one of those in detail as well. Now, what we're going to hopefully explain is where and when you can use these. So before we get into this, guys, there is no must-have mastery on any single champion. Everyone's pools are different, everyone's champions are different, everywhere that they're going to use them could be different. So there is no one size fits all. There are great resources out there which are going to tell you which are the most optimal masteries a lot of the time, but again, they don't know exactly where and when you're using them. So for example, Ayumi Love, Hell Hades, both have awesome websites that you can check out to see what other people or what are recommended on that champion. But not everyone is going to have your gear, not everyone is going to have that champion in the dungeon that you want to run it, and so on and so on. So there is no must-have blueprint for every single champion, right? Now, point in case is going to be this mastery here. So the first one, Deadly Precision, 5% crit rate. Beautiful, right? 9 times out of 10, you're going to be picking this. But only 9 times out of 10. And you're thinking, hang on, Shanks, every single one of my offensive guys starts with that and goes down. And you might be right, they probably do. But imagine if you've already geared that champion first and you've got like, I don't know, 108% crit rate, right? You're already on 108% crit rate. You don't need to go that extra 5% crit rate. It's not going to help you, right? So therefore, the flat 75 damage would actually be more beneficial once you know the gear on your champion. Now, if it's a difference between, I don't know, say 96% crit rate, then you want to take that and make sure you get to 101, right? After you've already geared them, you're going to be taking that for that 100% crit. But if you're already over 100%, there is absolutely nothing wrong with going Blade Disciple, extra 75% attack as a flat, and then you can boost that up from there. So then going in to the second set of masteries, we're going to start from the right hand side and we'll go across from there. Grim Resolve, damage increases damage inflicted by 5% when attacking with 50% HP or less. When are we going to use this? Ideally, we're going to use this in unkillable comps versus the clan boss. We're going to use this in anyone that's going to get beat up a lot, that's going to be a target that we think is going to be predominantly on low health for the majority of the fight. If they're going to be on low health for the majority of the fight, this is the one you want to go to. On the flip side of that, damage increases damage inflicted by 5% when attacking with full HP. This is the guys that your nukers that aren't going to get touched, that are going to go first, that are speed tuned. You want to be starting off with Heart of Glory. If you're in a go second team and you think your team's going to get beat up a little bit, Grim Resolve is going to be what you want to take. So again, this is situational where you're using them. From that, Keen Strike plus 10% crit damage. To me, it's probably one of the only guaranteed masteries, right? It's probably one of the only guaranteed. I can't think of many examples where you wouldn't take this one. If you're building crit, if you go in offense, you probably gonna build into this. Now, there is an argument, I don't know, if you're not going down a crit damage build or any type of crit build, you might swerve this and then come back in afterwards. But to me, this is probably one of the only go-to masteries. Shield Breaker is going to be predominantly for your arena guys, okay? So if you're building someone for the arena, damage increases damage inflicted to targets under shield buffs by 25%. But again, before you actually just take this straight off the bat, think about your arena comp first. Okay, do you have someone that strips buffs? Do you have someone that that clears them already? You know, for example, you don't want to take this Shield Breaker if you're running, I don't know, say your Trunder, your Kale, whoever it is, with a Madame Cerise, because Madame Cerise is going to take that away, and now all of a sudden there's no point to do this extra damage because they've not got a shield buff. So a lot of these Masteries, guys, are so situational, and that's what I mean, right? Most people be like, yeah, you go into that and shield breaker and that and that and that, but they don't know the comp that you're running with, so only you can make that decision. Is this going to be a big thing? If you don't have someone that's going to strip the buffs and you're going to need that extra damage, then by all means, this is a really, really good Mastery to go. But think about your team comp before you just randomly select the Mastery or just randomly copy whatever's recommended, you know? Right, then we're going to start on the left-hand side this time. We'll go Single Out, increases damage inflicted to targets with less than 40% HP by 8%. So, again, where are we going to use them? Are we going to be... Is this going to be the champion that kills them off? You know, is it going to get that double hit? Are you going to be using it in dungeons? So then towards the end of the dungeon, it's going to go a lot quicker, that type of thing. Really, really good Mastery to have. But again, if you're maybe using it in Clan Boss and you only hit on Void Affinity, probably not the greatest one, right? Because they're going to be over 40% HP. Life Drinker heals 5% of the damage inflicted when attacking with 50% HP or less. One of the ones that a lot of people don't think about in Unkillable, for example, is, well, we're unkillable, why do we need health back? You actually want to get a little bit of health back so they can counter attack with a different Mastery. They've got to be able to take damage to be able to counter attack, right? So even though you might go unkillable, Life Drink is actually really, really good if you're going to be using that type of thing. Now, you don't need this Mastery if you're going to be on full HP for the fight. You don't need this Mastery if you're going to be whacking them on a nuker that doesn't get hit. It's going to be that type of situational. Am I going to get beat up in the fight? Do I need to heal myself back? Again, for a go second team in the arena, it's a very, very good Mastery to have. But again, think about your comp. Only you know your comp, right? Only you know where you're going to be using this champion. So that's why we're talking about Masteries rather than like guide specific. Whirlwind of Death, increased speed by 6 speed for each enemy killed in this champion, stacks across each round in battle up to 18 speed. I love this Mastery. I think it's great if you're going to be using it in dungeons, if you're going to be using it in arena, if you're going to be using it on a champion that kills people. It sounds daft to say, but it's really, really, really helpful. For example of this Mastery, I use this Mastery on my Seer, who is at slower speed than my Renegade. So my Renegade opens with A1. Seer will then clear the wave after the rest of the team have gone, and she's killed everyone, right? So now all of a sudden she's got 18 speed quicker, and now she is faster than Renegade. So she comes out, then she does her A2, which puts the weaken down, then Renegade resets, and then Seer clears the wave yet again. Absolutely beautiful Mastery, but again, no good to have it on someone that's not going to be killing them, that's not going to be getting the final blow on them. 18 speed is really, really nice, right? Really, really nice, but they've got to be able to get the kills. So think about what type of champion you're building. Where you're going to be using them? Are they going to be getting the most out of that 18 extra speed? Ruthless Ambush, increased damage inflicted by 8% for the first hit on each enemy. So again, pretty straightforward. 8% more extra damage on your first hit. Lovely, right? Again, if you're going to use it, beautiful. Right, Opportunist is the next one down on the right hand side, and this is going to increase damage inflicted to targets with stun, sleep, fear, true fear or freeze by 12%. Now typically, especially when enemies are frozen, they normally take less damage. So if you are going to be using a freeze team, for example, this is on Gorga the Ogre, or Olga, whatever his name is, Gora, increase the damage inflicted. He's going to freeze everyone out, right? He's going to freeze everyone out, then he's going to get to go again, and I want to be able to do a little bit more damage with him when he goes again. So think about the team comp. Are you going to be using stun, sleep, fear, true fear or freeze? If you are, this is a really, really great Mastery to have. If you haven't got anyone in your team that's going to provide that, then don't touch it. You know, don't even look at that one. Cycle of Violence has a 30% chance of decreasing the cooldown of a random skill by 1 turn if the damage inflicted by a skill exceeds 30% of the target's max HP, occurs once per turn. So, if you hit someone really, really hard for more than 30% of their HP, you've got a 30% chance of decreasing the cooldown of that random skill. However, it is only once per turn. It doesn't matter if you hit like 5 people, 1 person, or anything like that. It's a 30% chance if you break them for more than 30%. It's pretty good. It adds that bit of randomness in, and again, randomness not so much on offense, but especially on arena defense. You want that type of randomness where it's going to throw people out a little bit. So it's a pretty solid mastery. Then we go on to Wrath of the Slain. Increased damage inflicted by 5% for each dead ally, stacks up to 10%. So what this is saying is if 2 of your allies die, it's going to increase your damage by 5%. All right. Now, are you going to be running that in a team where that's going to make sense? Are you running a dungeon with food where you know they're going to die? Are you running a team comp in arena where you know you're going to at least lose 2 people? If you are, great. Are you running an unkillable in clan boss? If you are, really not going to help you, right? Because you're unkillable. You're not going to get that extra 10%, and you really need 2 allies to die for that mastery to be applicable. Again, situational. What team you running? Bring it down. Now, this is really, 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 really good one. And again, this probably, if you're going to go for clan boss, a must-have. Increased damage inflicted by 6% when attacking targets with higher max HP. Pretty much anyone that you're going to be using in dungeons, you're going to try and want to get to this skill. It makes a lot more sense. 6% with higher max HP, really, really nice. But if you're just attacking things in arena where they don't have max, if you're on like I don't know, like a Sir Nick, for example, where you're going to stack that HP as much as you can, try and get to the 80, 90, 100k HP, he's not going to get that extra 6% damage because no one's going to have higher HP than him. So keep that in mind, what type of champion you're building it on again. Then we're going to go to Methodical. Now, again, this is really, really good for clan boss. This is really, really good for anyone that's going to use their A1 over and over. Increase the damage inflicted by this champion's default skill by 2% each time, stacks across the round and up to 10%. So if he uses the A1 or she uses the A1 5 times, that's where you're going to get maximum benefit from this thing. But if they're never going to get to use the A1, or if it's a very quick fight, Methodical is not the one to use. Then we go on a kill streak. Increased damage inflicted by 6% in the arena and 3% in all other locations for each enemy killed by this champion in battle. Stacks across each round in battle and up to 12%. So what this is going to say is damage in the arena, you need to kill 2 people and then your damage is 12% greater. In any other area of the game, you're going to need to kill 4 people, and that's going to give you an extra 12% damage for that. Now, again, if you're just running it in clan boss, it's never going to help you because you're not going to kill them. But if you're running it in a dungeon where you want to get to the end boss with a little bit more oomph, then this is a really, really good one to have. Then we've got Blood Shield, places a shield buff on this champion for 1 turn when this champion kills an enemy. Now, it only happens, it places a shield buff on this champion for 1 turn when this champion kills an enemy. The value of the shield is equal to 15% of the champion's max HP, and it can only occur once per turn. So even if you kill multiple people, it's only going to give you the 1 shield for that. If you need that little bit of extra survivability, if you want to like ping someone out, I don't know, maybe you're using Little Miss Anne, maybe you're using a single target big damage dealer and you want to get a little bit of health back, then great. It's a nice little shield, but it is 15% of your champion's max HP. So for example, a Little Miss Anne, you're not really going to be building with a lot of HP, so she's not going to get a very big shield at all. So think about who you're putting that on as well. Then Stoke to Fury, increase is damage inflicted by 4% for each debuff on this champion, stacks up to 12%. So if it's got 3 debuffs on them, it's going to do 12% extra damage. This is a really, really good one if you're using what's his name? Mossbeard. Right, Girptuck Mossbeard. If he's going to damage your team by putting poisons on, then you know you're going to have 3 debuffs. This is a great one to use for anyone that's going to go into a dungeon or arena with Girptuck Mossbeard, because that's going to give you an extra 12% damage, which is absolutely massive. Then combine that with his passive as well. It does an awful lot for you. But if you're not going to have any debuffs on your team, it's not going to help you, right? Right, then we're going to go into Flawless Execution. Crit damage flats, 20% crit damage. So if you've already gone with that one, you've got 25% crit damage now if you go Flawless Execution. Not a bad mastery, not a bad mastery at all, if you don't think one of the other ones will help you more. So for example, I'd use this on a seer quite often, depending on my gear and depending on where I can get her. Then you go into Giant Slayer, has a 30% chance of inflicting bonus damage when attacking. Bonus damage is equal to 7.5% of the target's champion's max HP, or 3% of the target's max HP when attacking bosses. Bonus damage can occur on each hit of a skill, but does not count as an extra hit. Damage based on enemy max HP. Where would you take Giant Slayer? Anyone that's got a multi-hit A1, for example, that you're going to be using against bosses, especially clan boss. Anyone that's got a multi-hit A1, Allure, Razin, Foley, anyone that's going to be hitting multiple times on their A1, definitely consider Giant Slayer. Then, if you're going to be looking at an arena build, Helm Smasher is probably where you want to be looking at. Has a 50% chance of ignoring 25% of the target's defense. For skills that ignore defense, this 25% is an addition to the amount ignored by the skill. Now, it's a 50-50, it's a random one, it's not going to occur every time, but when it does, it's absolutely huge. And we all know with Savage gear how much damage that actually equates to by ignoring 25% of the target's defense. So this is definitely one that you're going to look at predominantly when you're building an arena champion. This is probably the one that you're going to steer towards, again depending on who your champion is. Then good old War Master has a 60% chance of inflicted bonus damage when attacking. Bonus damage is equal to 10% of the target champion's max HP, or 4% of the target's max HP when attacking bosses. Bonus damage can only occur once per skill and does not count as an extra hit. General rule of thumb is if you've got a champion that has a single target A1, you're going to go for War Master. Multi-hit A1, you're going to go for Giant Slayer. Pretty much the general rule of thumb, especially when looking towards building damage dealers in Clan Boss. Now, hope that helps, guys. I hope that explains the masteries and situations where you might use those masteries, because again, yes, there's some great builds, but the amount of times that I've got people that come in the stream and go, oh my god, Aomi Love's telling me I should build it like this, HH's website's telling me I should build it like this, how should I build it? And it's so situational. Is where are you building it for? What are you building it for? Who is that champion going to be with on that team? And hopefully me explaining what the masteries do and how they work might make things a little bit easier when you're, yes, by all means use a blueprint of what people think you should do, but if you're going to go into, I don't know, like Wrath of the Slain, but you're using them on an arena team with a freeze champion, maybe Opportunist is going to be a lot better for you. Again, it depends on who you're building, where you're building them for, and who you're building them with. Raid is a game all about synergy, and getting the most out of your masteries is absolutely huge. Guys, that is it for me today. If you've liked the video, do me a massive favor, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, really helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you want to see more raid content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will make sure I go through and do the defense and the support tree as well. But if you've made it this far, you're an absolute bloody legend. Appreciate you watching, and until next time, be smart, be strong, be safe, and I'll see you on the flip side. So take it easy.